Hello, Athena Music here. I wanted to celebrate. This is really, well, I guess it's my second time now going live on here. And the first one was really more of an introduction. I think I'm going to do more music this time and uh, probably do a little bit of talking about, what's going on in my world, some of the things that I'm observing about the world. And let's see, is it technically? I've actually got 4 minutes here, but I get on early, so I know I'll be here on time. I've been watching a lot of online um, business represented. I don't know what you call them. They're not. I guess they're advertisements. I guess now we're all going to be in one, watching one big long advertisement. They're really more infomercials, because you are going to probably pick up some information from a lot of these companies. I know I learn a lot of things on a couple of the platforms, especially, this one, YouTube, over on IG. I love that. I love learning. So the technology isn't all bad. I just heard someone who's very prominent in the field who was, I don't know, really what his message was, other than trying to make people fearful. But I have a theory. I'm not sure if this thing right here is helping me or not. I think. Let's see. So yeah, that might be helping me. Let me go over here. I forget which platform needs what apparatus, and I am learning this particular platform. Um, But as he was saying, everything now that our devices will do and what our AI is doing, which is learning us to the nth degree, well, I think we all kind of knew that on the front end that privacy is a thing of the past. There is probably no moment of your life anymore that will be private because of the invasion of the people who are driving this AI uh, surveillance. I think that's really the word that this person was drilling down on. And I've been online now for about 7 years. And I want to say that I kind of figured it out on the front end of all times in the world to be famous or be attempting a more public persona. I knew, that there was no corner you could run to with what people were doing now. Excuse me one second. And here's the good part. There isn't anything I have to hide. And I think if you're a good guy, uh, so what are you going to learn about me that, you think that is, something. Well, I have no secrets, let's put it that way. So I mean, if you're coming after me, you're going to come up a little blank because I have no secrets. I have never had secrets in my life. uh and the thing is, the people who want to know other people's secrets, who are invasive, those are the people whose psyches have something to hide, because normal um, a normal psyche does not want to invade other people's privacy. I used to be very bothered that we used to put animals in the zoo. These poor animals were taken out of their habitat, and people just go and stare at them, and throw popcorn at them or something. I mean, think about living like that. Well, triple that, you know, quadruple that about what humans have done to themselves now. And I don't know if there are any places on this earth left where you can run and just be a part of nature and not feel like you're a specimen that is being poked and prodded and judged because you have, maybe you have the idea that people should be free, people should all be respected. Uh, I think, I hope that those are not concepts that we lose in this new technological age. But to me, it seems like that really is the first thing that's coming. Forget privacy, forget about someone, having a different ideology than what tech is going to decide we should all be thinking. So, I'm not as fearful, maybe, as they're wanting us to be about this, because there again, I have no secrets. Uh, you know, I kind of I come from a family that way, and that was the functionality, I'll say, of my family. There were no secrets. We could express ourselves verbally, and I'm so thankful for that. I look at a world and I hear more about other people's lives, and it makes me very sad that people have had to live in this very artificial hiding, of what was done to us and how that makes us react to the world. And I'm also very much into psychology because I believe in healing. I'm a songwriter because I believe songs can help us heal. Science has proven that music can help humans heal. I hope we don't ever lose the human element, though, of our stories. Every human has different stories. We've evolved as a species loving stories. That's why we watch movies, we read books. And I guess I'm just waiting to see, how AI's major influence will affect human stories. We don't know that yet. But the other part of it is that I'm very glad that I have evolved in my life to this point. Standing firm in all the good that happened to me in my life, having a very open-minded background, people around me who are highly educated, who taught me what healthy is. And I guess, if you're kind of on the fringes of an organization, that has never traditionally operated like that, well, AI is going to throw those doors open, because there will be no more secrets, even in these very dysfunctional organizations. And well, that's kind of what um, I won't say. I think they're working on this, but they're actually trying to read people's minds. They've been working on that now for a long time. And I thought, why? Why do you care? What somebody's thinking, unless they're in criminal activity. Now, there's the catcher. And the irony is, criminal activity is someone who is invading someone else's private life. That is criminal activity. Or if you're trying to harm a society, that is that's criminal, to harm a society. Well, anyway, do you see the irony? Does anyone understand what I'm saying here? So it is kind of interesting. And in the past, I would have just taken it in and thought it to myself. But I'm trying as a songwriter through my songs, what I say, I am actually trying to help people, put you at ease. None of us can ultimately control what is going to happen. Even the ones who think they cannot. And I'm a firm believer that if you are staunchly, a control freak, if you're trying to control everything around you, uh, it's going to be ultimately your demise. It's something that is unnatural. People aren't going to tolerate that. Not for very long. There are too many revolutions in human history for that. But anyway, let me sing something. I still have no one attending here. Someone might catch this on the rebound, but this song I wrote. I guess it's been a couple years ago now. I'm gonna shrink this down a little bit. Pull up my screen, and I'm getting ready to hopefully release my first CD. It's something that I have put off because of streaming. They have, of course, recommended that, don't waste your money, on paying for CDs. But there's actually been a resurgence on that because things could actually fold online, believe it or not. Natural disasters, whatever, something could happen online. And you may not be able to reach your favorite platform. And the good news is, if you have your hard copy of the music that you love that has meant something to you in your lifetime, you can stay in your own little bubble without being online and have the music that you love. So I do think, maybe it's a window of opportunity here for people who might want to stay in possession of music that has meant something to you in your life. Now, I'm like anybody else. I'm always, looking forward to something good, new, good music. And I certainly have my current favorite artists that I do listen to. And, I think about that. I said, man, what if whatever, all the servers went down, there was a natural disaster. And I think, well, I'd never hear that music again, and music brings me up when I'm down. I know that. It has always done that for humans. And I don't know if AI will change that or not. It might. After we hear AI music, we might say, I don't know. But anyway, this song is called Short-Lived Days. It is probably the theme of my life. More than half my life I've known what I wanted to do. Why some things take so long, not yet coming true. I wonder with more passing days, which parts of life improve. Life starts slow with no regard for what it should include. There's a rush and a pushback slowing. I want a chance. I could be knowing someone on my side. Better parts amplified. How to view things, get it right. Nothing compared. Using our pride or happiness delayed in these short-lived days. If pain makes things last forever, brief is the longest time. Best that's known are fleeting moments, stopping sadness a while. I needed things not quite as hard. With how hard I tried, over time I also learned some love's better kept inside. Why be in a hurry if you miss the fun? Only have to worry what work gets done. Too much of that is a party of none. There's a rush and a pushback slowing. I want a chance. I could be knowing someone on my side. Better parts amplified. How to view things, get it right. Nothing compared. Using our pride. No happiness delayed in these short-lived days. I've been involved with several. Which one to turn down here? Several songwriting opportunities where they give you a prompt and you go write a song, and that was one of those. Someone had said, kind of write a song about your life, and so that's the one I wrote. And it's kind of, if anyone knows this term, but there was something they used to call Tin Pan Alley back in the 1920s, 100 years ago, where two guys would get in a room around a piano and they would bang out the hits for the day. And I remember, when I wrote this song on the piano, I thought, kind of reminded me of that, because what the producing that I've been doing really is, I think, closer to electronic music. And so I'm definitely more that than this kind of piano ballad. But, if you're writing a really personal song, maybe, I don't think it's hard to beat, just piano and lyrics and what have you. Well, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I am very excited to be here, very excited to be on this platform and have the opportunity to say something with all the people on this planet. It's, I'm very humble in that I realizing everyone has a story that deserves to be told. And my favorite thing to read are biographies. That's the one genre that I have read most in my life are biographies. For some reason, I never got into fiction. There was one book. It was a very popular. I worked in a public library for about almost 15 years, I guess. And there was one author who was very popular, and I never read any of his books. I just know I checked out a zillion of them at the desk. And so I finally, I always read the covers. I mean, you could almost know what the book is just reading those covers. And there was one cover that I said, I think I'm going to read this one. And the reason being, it was overseen by I think it was a scientist or someone who was an authority in this subject. And I cannot remember the name of the science now, but it absolutely was science fiction. And I'm not even into science fiction. That wasn't my genre either. So why I was reading this book, I don't know. But now I like science, but not science fiction. But this is a sworn prediction, I guess, for the future. If people want to hear this is quite startling. But they are going to start combining creatures. In other words, I don't know if they're going to put wings on humans. Sounds like something they would try. But this book evolved around this science of of combining different species. And yeah, that one got my attention. And so I'm pretty sure I'm not going to live long enough to see that, but I'm working on 100. And the irony of short-lived days, um, that took on different meanings for me. And what I was the main uh, theme that I was thinking of when I wrote those words is what I always wanted to do in life, which was music, save the world. um, I don't have enough. I'm running out of time for the ambitions that I had in my lifetime. I see people who rise to accumulation of a lot of money. And I think the world is looking at these people and trying to figure out, what are they doing with all this wealth? Are they trying to feed the hungry? There are too many people on this planet who go hungry every day. And of course, what someone does with their money ultimately is their own business. And I want to say that. But it's funny how these authoritarian AIs now that are coming in on us, they're acting like, well, no, not necessarily. And that's why the wealthy have put this into our lives now that can decide, there's a way that, maybe you won't have money if someone else has anything to do with it, that's a bad guy or something like that. And so I'm wondering why, the technology has been put there that um, makes it all the more easy, for people to not be able to control anything about their lives at all. And I would assume that's money too. So yeah, I'm definitely against, authoritarian type controls. I don't think there would be anyone who would, think that would be a good thing. Because like I said, it's going to affect the people who are supporting that system too. I don't know. It's just logic to me. I'm not really understanding it myself, but and they will not have any secrets. And I think people who do operate in a certain mentality of kind of a cutthroat, I mean, their secrets they're the ones with the secrets that are going to be exposed in all this, which is ironic. So, um, let's see, don't got a little off track here. Where was I going with this? But it's a fascinating, interesting subject to me. Um, and I'm not going to be as afraid as this person that I was just listening to might be suggesting that we should all be, because there again, I have no secrets. I've had a very boring life, if you will, and but I was thinking about human stories, and yeah, I actually did read one fiction book. That actually that's really what I started. I went on a tangent. Some fiction actually is based on fact, obviously, but I've always been the kind of person, I'd rather cut to the chase. If there's a subject that interests me, I'd rather just learn about the science and get it firsthand, instead of, fiction can lie for you so easily. uh, Let me think about where I was going to go with this. Sometimes I have to um, maybe think about, well, I certainly, don't want to say something that would, someone might find completely against what they believe. I would never want to do that. I believe in being respectful of all people's opinions, but I definitely have my own too. And one thing that I was going to talk about, my story, in that as painful as it was, I had to talk about it on the front end. Really, was that I spent the first part of my life trying to hide the fact that I suffered from seizures. And I was pretty good at it. I look back on it now, but the reason I was able to do that was because they were the petit mal kind. They were the kind you could stay standing. And mine affected mostly, I'm going to say, my hand movements and my upper body. It would vary a little bit, but I'm going to say it was mostly my hands. And I think I only fell once or twice from them. But there were two jobs in my life specifically that really set the path for, I don't know what I could have done. I really don't. I actually went to a psychiatrist, and because I like therapy too. And I unveiled this dark secret about myself. I don't know, 20 years old or something like that. And he was trying to help me find a job, that I could do because I was suffering from this. And but the first job I ever had, I was a nurse aide in my little town. And I did not know what the job entailed. I just thought you brought somebody their lunch. I was very naive. And but they actually, I don't know. I don't know how if things have changed, but used to be, you would have to prep someone for surgery, and you would have to shave, whatever area on their body was about to be operated on. And it just one day they brought me into this room and handed me a razor, and I was supposed to shave this person. There were two people there, and I thought, well, okay, I can handle this. But lo and behold, I look back on it now, and I had a seizure with that razor in my hand. And you're kind of let's see, what's the word? Kind of in and out. It's kind of like you can hear, but you can't respond. You're you're busy. But anyway, they were screaming at me to stop, and because they could tell, there was something wrong with the way my hands were moving. And well, anyway, needless to say, that was the last day I had that job. And so yeah, that was my first job. Was very traumatic. And I didn't let it stop me. I didn't blink an eye. I said, nope, I'm going to find a job. I've got to work. And the one thing that I had always wanted to do was do music. I wanted to be in a band. I wanted to write songs. When I was in college, while I was actually a voice major, I had tried for some bands. I had auditioned previously, and I did not make it. I looked a lot better than I look now, but I was deemed not attractive enough to be a singer. And no one had told me that, up to that point. My voice teacher even told me I was pretty. Back then, if you can believe that. I won't tell you how long ago that's been, but no, he told me I was pretty and I could do this. That was a very important thing for men. that a woman be pretty. If she had talent, she had to be pretty too. And so no, I never did make the band, because I guess they thought I wasn't pretty enough. But I finally got into this one band, and I found out later it was because this guy's mother told him to hire me. Oh God, the pain of it all. But lo and behold, our first gig, I think we were playing at some country club or something. I had a seizure on stage, and I had this top where it was tied at the top. It was like a peasant blouse. They were very in at the time, and my hand grabbed my peasant blouse, my string on my thing. I know this is too much information, but I mean, I couldn't believe it. But anyway, yeah, I guess I was just about pulling my top off. Oh God. So yes, another trauma. Last day I did that gig, and they were really angry at me, and I never really could understand, why would you be angry at someone? You obviously they could see something was weird. I mean, that beyond my control or something like that. So I guess somebody might say, well, you don't have to tell your story like that, but that was a turning point for me with my doing music. And so that's part of my story, certainly. But I also, God, I've been on here 30 minutes, and I know no one's listening to me. No one will listen to this if I talk here for an hour. I'm not instilling any great wisdom or information. But, I think given my life and my story, I've made the bold move that, maybe someone wants to know what happened to me in my lifetime, why I am who I am. And it is because of the irony, the irony of my story at these times that I do think someone would examine my life. And I do want the truth. I want the truth known in my life. There are devices right now who are trying to invade me and find out everything I'm doing and thinking and every little thing that's in my life. I can save you the trouble. I'm here, and I'm telling you. Just in a nutshell, the overview of my life. When I was 13, we were forced to learn about Greek mythology. I did not want to learn that. The book fell open to a page of Athenah, goddess of wisdom. She was also goddess of war. And of course, that's the last thing females have on their mind is war. And they said she had flashing-eyed. She was flashing-eyed Athenah. And somehow I'd read that the scholars had never figured out through time what was meant by flashing-eyed Athenah. And 13 years old, I said, oh, I know exactly what it was. Well, I didn't know they were saying that, but I said, I know what her flashing eyes are. She had seizures too. Well, anyway, that's what I said, my 13-year-old self. Okay, so that was that part of it. And then I know there are some things that I cannot say on here for reasons I can't say. I'll let AI invade it, but it's nothing that any fault of mine or anyone else. It's just one of those things that for the sake of my country, I can't say, kind of thing. But skipping around a little bit, when I was 30 years old and I still hadn't done the music in my life that I had wanted to do. I went to Nashville. I threw two things in my little car. I just had a little cash on me. I have no idea what I was thinking. I didn't go well prepared, like a repertoire of songs that I could stand on stage and prepare, sing something. And I thought I would go there and someone would hear me sing, know that I wanted to write songs, and they'd work with me. They say, "Well, this person has talent. Let's work with her." Uh, but anyway, so I was there better part of 9 months, about better part of a year maybe, and I realized, for whatever reason, my idea of what could happen wasn't going to happen, and so as I was driving home, I noticed a beautiful building to my right as I was leaving town, and it was the Parthenon. They had built it during the World's Fair around the turn of the century, the early 1900s, anyway. And the people in Nashville liked it so much they took a temporary building and decided to make it permanent. And it cost Nashville quite a bit of money to get that building. It's an exact replica of the Parthenon in Greece. And it is a beautiful building. To me, the architecture of the Greeks was so classic. It was so simple and beautiful. It carries into modern times. It was so beautiful. But as I went in there and I saw this huge statue of Athena in front of me, and I did not realize it at the time, but she had just been erected. And I mean just erected. And as I was leaving the Parthenon, I stood on the steps, in my defiance, like, oh, I'm going to do music. It's what I meant to do. And I said, that's what I'm going to name myself, Athenah. Take that, Nashville. That was goofy. So yeah, that's what, I'm not kidding. I named myself Athenah that day. And so as I came back home, and one other terrifying job I had, when I was, like I said, I was going to work. I didn't care what it was, as long as it was honorable, respecting. And I got this job where there was this huge metal press. I mean, it was, I think back on that and I'm like, God, what a machine. And it would come down and smash a piece of metal. Anyway, you had to use these keys, and you'd have to put these keys under the edge of this smasher. And I remember thinking every day, God, I hope I don't have a seizure because my hands are gone. I mean, it really was terrifying. That's how much I wanted to work. And luckily, I didn't have to stay there too long, maybe a month or two or something like that. I can't remember now. And I got an offer. I mean, I have no idea how this happened, but there happened to be an opening at the public library. And I thought my dreams had been answered. I was so happy there, no worries for it. And of course, I didn't realize, I was going to have to stay there on part-time minimum wage, for 15 years. That was the painful part. I always thought if you work hard, if you're always there on time, I always thought you'd get a little raise along the years. No, I didn't. Nothing happened on that count. And I thought, I look back on it now and I think, why didn't they just fire me? I don't really understand, if you hate someone, let me say this. I know I did my job better than anybody that I knew of that had those jobs before me. And that's biased, I know, but I just happen to know, I know what I know. And but everything's political in this world. We all know that. And Uh, Athena's being the goddess of wisdom. That's how I kind of tied in working in a library. We always think librarians are very smart. They don't have to be wise, but they know where wisdom is. I put myself in that category. But I got a kind of a kick out of that. Just as another off story too, I've always liked owls. Owls to me are some of the most interesting birds there are. And they had big eyes like I do, kind of big round eyes. And so yeah, owls were my bird. Now I do like chickadees, just for the record. I like all birds. My God, there isn't a bird I don't like. I love birds. I love everything in nature. Okay, yeah. I didn't want this to be kumbaya, but I am passionate, about so many things on this beautiful, beautiful planet that we have at our disposal. And that's actually what some people are taking literally, at our disposal. And but I believe in saving our Earth, trying to turn this around, all this pollution and greed, before it's too late, because it will be our own demise if we don't. But those are kind of the highlights of why my name Athenah, where it came from. And it really it really just kind of kept showing itself up in my life. I tried to run from it, and it kept coming back. um, so that's my story, and I've told it a few times online, I guess. And so I'm gonna make sure AI knows me and gets the story right. Um, and it is painful for me. My life has been painful. I think what happens for most people, though, you have moments of reprieve, or something goes your way. And sometimes something going your way, like when I got that library job for the first time, I had, what I thought was an interesting job. And it took a lot of years of my life. I was 30, in my early 30s when I got that job. Um, Even it can be a dead end. And that was, so I guess, in a way, life teaches you, don't get excited about the good things that happen to you. Don't even do that, because it'll let you down too. Um, but I am a realist, and I realize that there are no perfect situations or occupations. Well, anyway, I think I stayed too long at the fair. I am in the future going to sing more, talk less, but I wanted anyone who follows me to know my story. Um, like I said, it's really for me a painful story. Um, and I always thought there would be a happy ending. I really did. If manifesting works, um, I'm waiting for it. I wouldn't have made it through elementary school without it. And they used to beat me up on the way home from school in elementary school. There are kids who get that done to them. And I was one of them, because I was young for my class. And I was very sensitive. And, the bullies, that's the thing about human nature. Bullies go after the easy kill. They don't go after people that would put them in their place. So I have in my lifetime fought mightily to try to learn how, you put people in their place who are not respectful, who are too authoritarian, in their outlooks, their beliefs, and uh, so I want to thank anyone who likes my music, who understands that I believe in goodness. I believe in good intentions.